Hey everybody. Hey, Nick said it, but man, it is good to be back with you guys. We have been waiting for this night. We've been really antsy for it, and I think I've talked to some of you, and I think some of you are too. So welcome back. I just want to say welcome back to those of you who do the year with us. But I also know that there's probably a lot of people in here who are new to our Tuesday night meeting, and so I just want to say I'm so glad you're here. I don't know if maybe you're doing classes here in Columbia or you got an internship here. Maybe you're from Columbia and you go to a different school, so now you're home for summer. Or maybe you're an incoming freshman and we're so glad that you are checking us out. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you've been around for a while, but summer is just kind of an easier time to check us out. So regardless of what it is, we just want to say we are so happy that you are here. We're excited to meet you guys. So we hope that you'll stick around after, hang out with us, get to meet some people. I'm going to be at the welcome desk, and I would genuinely love to just say hi. It's probably actually a good time to introduce myself. My name is Alex. If we haven't met, I'm here on staff with Veritas. And I started working here after college in 2015, which means that this May, probably 2 weeks ago, marked 10 years of working with college students. And so, thank you. It actually just makes me feel old more than anything. But I was thinking about it the other week. I was reflecting on all of this in the last 10 years and just the things, what my job has looked like all the things that I've seen God do in and through college students. And so I was having this conversation with an older woman in our church, and she was she asked, "What's your favorite thing about your job?" And I was like, well, I want to tell you 70 favorite things, if that's okay, because I love it all. But the thing that I usually say that I've always really loved about my job is the students that we work with. I don't know, it sounds cliche, but you guys. But I love working with college students. I think you guys are the best. And so that's what I told her. And she was like, really, Gen Z? What do you love about them? And for context, she's mid-60s, so she has kids who now have kids. So this was not on a knock. There was not a knock on you guys. It wasn't, she was like, really? Oh, you like them? She was being really genuine. She wanted to know. And so I kind of just launched into all the reasons that I am just obsessed with your generation, with the qualities and the characteristics and your strengths. I really got into it. It was probably honestly too much. She probably did not need a full report of how amazing Gen Z was from my personal opinion, but I couldn't help it. I kept coming back to, in this conversation, one thing though, and that was the fact that Gen Z, from what I've seen, you guys are so driven. You have this hunger for things that matter. I see it again and again. You guys, from what I can tell, want a life with purpose and meaning and impact. You guys want a life that counts. You want to make a difference. And I see that all over the place. I see it again and again. And so this is what I shared with her. I said, they're really hungry. And that plays out all different ways, right? I think in a room like this, we might say lots of different things. You might say, well, we all have different goals, or we all are pursuing different things, or we all want to accomplish different stuff. And I would say that's for sure true, but overall, research even shows, legitimately, it is really known that you guys as a generation are driven, you're hungry. And so I want to ask, for you to just be thinking about it as we kind of talk through a passage tonight, I want you guys to think to yourself, what are you hungry for? What is it for you? What's your thing? Like I said, in a room of people like this, I bet we have lots of different answers, okay? But everybody has their thing. So answer for yourself, what are you hungry for? It could be anything, right? We want to be successful. We want to have great friends, a true, genuine community. Or we want to know that someday we're financially secure, right? Or we want our dream job someday. Or we want something like peace from our anxiety, our depression. Maybe you're someone who hungers for the feeling of being valued, accepted, being seen as somebody. Maybe you hunger for a relationship where somebody loves you, like really cares for you. I mean, it could be any of those things, or like a million other things. You name it. But what is it for you? What are you after? What's driving you? If that's a tough question to answer, maybe we can put it in these terms. Like what do you want most? What do you want most? What's the thing that you feel like you are going after again and again? You're chasing, you keep driving towards. Or you could ask it this way, like, what is the thing that if you got it, you would just feel, okay, I am okay. Like, I am now content. I am happy. I am satisfied. What is it for you? What is it for you? So think about it. Do you have it in your head? You have it in your head. I hope so. I hope you're starting to see what it is for you. Because my next question, my follow-up question is it satisfying you? Is that thing that is like your main priority? Maybe it's the thing that you end up thinking about all day, that you make time for, that you know it's your main goal, it's the thing you want. Is that thing satisfying you? Like, just to be clear, I'm not trying to do like a bait and switch, right? Like a gotcha moment, because remember, I spent probably 15 minutes telling a lady about how much I love your hunger and your drive as a generation, but I think a lot of these things are good things. So I'm not saying that the things that you want most, that we all want most, are bad things. In all likelihood, they're probably good stuff, but is it satisfying you? Is the thing that you want most satisfying you? As you think about that, some of you might be like, I'm not sure yet. Because like I haven't gotten it yet, so how would I know? I haven't gotten into that program that I really want to get into. Or I haven't found my person yet. Or haven't gotten over my anxiety yet. I'm sure it'll happen, like it's just right out of my grasp. And so I'm going to keep going after it. I'm going to keep chasing it. And then we'll see. But some of you in here, you're like, no, see, I got it. I got the thing that I was hungry for, that I thought I wanted most, but then I got it and I realized it really wasn't what I thought it would be. It didn't really measure up, like it didn't end up satisfying. You're thinking about your life and you're thinking, yeah, I got the incredible internship. It just turned out to be a disappointment. Or I have a boyfriend, yeah, but he's not really the guy I thought he was. Or I don't know, there's plenty of things that we can be thinking about that when we think about it, we just realize this isn't exactly as satisfying as we thought it was going to be. In her 2020 documentary, Miss Americana, Taylor Swift, I'm not a Taylor fan, to be honest, but this documentary is incredible. Like, I really love it. And if I offended any of you by saying I'm not a Taylor fan, I'm sorry. She's fine. But this documentary is so good. I think it's really revealing. And in it, she is talking about her fame, her success, her recognition. And this is how she talks about it. Okay, ready? She says, my life had never been better. I'd won Album of the Year at the Grammys for a second time, which I never thought it was a possibility. And I remember thinking at the time, oh my God, that was all you ever wanted. Oh God, that was all you wanted. That was all you focused on. You get to the mountaintop and you look around and you're like, oh God, what now? See, Taylor Swift, she got what she had been hungering for. She got what she thought would make her content, satisfied, happy. And it turned out it didn't satisfy her. The accomplishment that she had been longing for, chasing after, it didn't quite measure up. It didn't make her satisfied. See, we are chasing, I think that we are chasing things that we think will finally give us the satisfaction that we are looking for. But when we get it, we look up, we look around, and we realize it didn't quite have that pack of contentment that we were wanting. It didn't quite provide the satisfaction that we had been craving. See, what if the thing that you want most, what if it'll never satisfy you? Like, what if the thing that you have been going for relentlessly, you want, you hunger for it so deeply, what if it does not satisfy you ever? What if it cannot satisfy you? There's a story in the Bible about a crowd of people who are hungry. Like, literally, though, they are hungry because they have been sitting for hours listening to Jesus teach. And this story, it's recorded in all of the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And in all four accounts, it talks about how there were probably like 5,000 men there. But what that means is that in addition to the 5,000 men that were recorded, there were probably also women and children there, like as many, if not more. And so in all, this crowd, if you're imagining it, is enormous. It's like thousands and thousands of people. And after Jesus finishes teaching, we would kind of expect in this story for him to just like kindly say like, okay, thank you for listening. All right, everybody, we're done, head on home. But he doesn't do that. Instead, he turns to one of his disciples, one of his followers, in a guy named Philip. And he turns to Philip and he asks him, hey, where can we buy bread to feed all of these people? Can you imagine if Jesus asked you that question? Like, think about it. Like, a question that assumes that somehow maybe you were a part of purchasing lunch for like 10,000 people. And so Philip, I mean, almost immediately, he's like, yeah, no way, Jesus. Like, we do not have the money to do that. And one of his other followers named Andrew pipes up and he says, hey, but you know what, there's this boy and he's got 5 loaves of bread and 2 loaves of fish. But like, what would that do for us? Or not loaves of fish, 2 fish. Whatever, it's a new thing. So they're debating this, and then all of a sudden they look over, and Jesus has asked everybody to sit down, and he is passing out this boy's 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, and somehow it never runs out. Like, somehow there is enough to go around for everybody, like more than enough, as it turns out. In John 6:11 and 12, it says that everybody there had as much as they wanted. Like, these disciples, they did not stop handing out food to the people around them until everybody was full. Like, not satisfied, not that they staved off people's hunger for a little bit or that they got them, through the day, but no, they were full. Full. There was such an abundance of food that at the end, there were 12 baskets left over. That's more than they started with. And the crowd, like, imagine yourself, the crowd is stunned. The crowd is stunned. And so understandably, they had just seen that Jesus had taken basically nothing and created this just crazy abundance, overflow of food. And so they are suddenly very, very interested in Jesus and what he provides. So fast forward, he leaves, but they follow him in boats across the Sea of Galilee, and they seek him out on the other side. And when they find him, Jesus, he knows. He welcomes them, but he knows what they hunger for. He knows what they really want most, and he wants to show them that it's not going to satisfy them. Chapter 6, verses 26 and 27, he says to them, truly, I tell you, you are looking for me not because you saw the signs, but because you ate the loaves and were filled. Don't work for the food that perishes, but for the food that lasts for eternal life, which the Son of Man will give you. So Jesus, he knows. He knows that they chased after him because they wanted more food. They had been full, and now they want more. Like that's the way it is with every good meal, right? Like it doesn't last. It's kind of temporary. I went to a Texas Roadhouse for the first time ever recently, which I know crazy. I'm aware. I get it. My family, maybe they kept it from me, apparently. I don't really know. But I went, and as I'm sure a lot of you know, the rolls, they're amazing. That cinnamon butter, are you kidding me? So I just went after it. I did not limit myself. And by the end of the meal, I was so uncomfortably full. I was miserably full, and I was pretty much convinced that I was never gonna wanna eat food. Maybe I was never gonna need food again. I'm sure we've all been there. Some meal, we know what that feels like. But then, what happened? I went home, I went to bed, Didn't sleep well, no surprise there. And then I woke up the next morning and what? I was ready for breakfast, you know? Like that's just the way food works. No matter how full, even when we are the most full, the most satisfied, eventually it doesn't last. Eventually we will be hungry again because our body, it takes food, it processes it, it uses the nutrients, and then it needs more. So Jesus, he has seen that they want more food, but here he is offering them a food that will last eternally. He asks them, there is food, do you want it? And you know what their response is? In verse 34, their response is, sir, give us this bread always. They're like, yeah, that sounds great. They desperately want a bread that will last them, that will never spoil, that will never perish. It's never going to run out. It will satisfy them over and over and over again. But they don't understand that Jesus is there to offer them something so much better. He is offering them, this crowd himself. He says, I am the bread of life, Jesus told them. No one who comes to me will ever be hungry, and no one who believes in me will ever be thirsty again. I am the bread of life. That statement right there, it is one of 7 statements in the book of John, the 4th account of Jesus' life and death and resurrection. This is one of 7 statements where Jesus describes himself with a metaphor. And Jesus starts all of them by saying, I am. And so appropriately, they became known as the I am statements. And these metaphors, what they do is they give us insight into what Jesus says about himself, like who he says he is. So they give us this picture of things like his character or his reason for coming to earth, his mission, his will, his personhood. And so for the next 4 weeks, we're going to be here and we're just going to pick 4 of those I am statements and we're going to explore what they say about who Jesus is. And we're going to explore what it says about who Jesus is, but also who we are in light of who Jesus is. So tonight we're kicking off with this statement right here. I am the bread of life. So he says, I am the bread of life. What does Jesus mean when he says that? Well, remember, this crowd is hungry. They are looking for something that's going to satisfy them indefinitely. And they have just seen Jesus provide for them like in crazy, crazy abundance. And they're sure that he can do it again. They are positive that he is able to do it again. So this must be the bread that he's talking about, right? Like this has to be the bread that lasts into eternity. But Jesus says, no, you're missing the point. I am the bread. Jesus is saying, I am the one who can satisfy your hunger. But not just your physical hunger. No, your deepest hunger. Like your greatest desire, the thing that you want most. See, whether we know it or not, the thing that we actually want most, the thing that we really, really hunger for, is a life in relationship with God. That's what we actually want. That's the thing that can actually make us content, happy, satisfied. And it's what can do that. It's the only thing that can do that because it's the way we were made. God created us to be in relationship with him. That's the way it works. It's the way he designed us. And so it's the only way that life really works. We are made to be in relationship with God. So no other life will satisfy. Any life outside of God, it's going to let us down. Dax Shepard, I'm assuming we know who he is. If not, no shame. He's an actor. And about 6 years ago, he did an interview where he talked about what he would call rock bottom in his life. And so he says, in this interview, he says he's sitting in a bar and he's taking stock of his life and he's commenting as if he's back in that phase of his life. And he says this. He says, I'm doing everything I had dreamt of doing for 30 years. It all came true. And I am the least happy I've been in my life. I'm the closest to not wanting to be alive as I've ever been. And I have every single thing on paper that I wanted. I was able to say, oh, something much more profound is broken. Because up till then, I could tell myself, well, if I had money, I wouldn't need to do this. If I was doing the thing I wanted to do, that would solve everything. I think a lot of us proceed through life thinking we would be happy if. We would have self-esteem if. We would know contentment if. All those things are illusions that most people don't get to find out that are illusions. Find out are illusions. I got to find out it's an illusion. I was like, it's none of those things. It's a lot. This is saying a life apart from God, in Dax's word, is profoundly broken. A life outside of God is gonna fail us. It will eventually, because it's an illusion of satisfaction. It just doesn't work. We are not made to thrive, to grow without being in relationship with God. That's why Jesus uses the metaphor of bread. He is comparing himself to something that these people relied on daily for nourishment and sustenance and literal survival. We need Jesus. We need a life with him. But see, the only way that we're going to get that is if we stop chasing the things of this world that promise to sustain us but really, really can't. We have to acknowledge that these are an illusion of satisfaction. The thing that takes up our mind, your day, the thing that we are chasing, the thing that you want deeply, the thing that you think will make you content, it just can't compare. It can't with a life with God. Some of you in this room, I think you might feel this. Like, I think you might have been hungering for a while. Like, you may have this sense of emptiness, of craving, of longing. I know what that feels like. And if that is you, I really believe that Jesus is inviting you into a relationship with him, into a life with him, a life of trusting him, a life of following his ways, a life of spending time with him. He's the bread of life, and so he is inviting you to take and receive his goodness, his love. And I would just encourage you, like just lean into that. Just see where it takes you. Take this summer and just get to know Jesus a little bit better. If you're not really sure how to do that, I would suggest starting with one of the 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John, the first 4 books in the New Testament of the Bible. There's a lot of great resources, things to do as you're reading through that. But this summer, the Crossing, we're doing a series on Mark. And so on Sundays, we're going to be going through the book of Mark, and we've got a devotional that you could use throughout the week to go along with us. And I think if you did that over time, I think you might discover that Jesus is actually what you're hungering for. I think you might see that he is the only one who can satisfy. Anything apart from him, it can't last. Like anything that we work for, anything that we chase after, none of it is permanent. And we kind of know that instinctively, right? Like we know the success that we have right now, it could all fall apart. Or we know that the person that we're dating, they could break up with us. We know that our anxiety could come back. We know that the friend that we love so much that makes us feel known, accepted, they could find another friend that they like being around more. None of it is guaranteed, except for Jesus. He's the only one who doesn't change. He is the only one who won't fail us. He's the only one who won't disappoint, won't abandon, won't betray us. He promises to satisfy us, and he is good on his word. He promises to provide for us, and not just like the bare minimum, right? But in abundance. He promises to nourish us, sustain us, and not just our tangible needs here day to day, but no, down to our soul, down to our core. Jesus is the satisfaction to the hunger of our very existence. He is the only one who will satisfy, and it's permanent, everlasting, totally secure. I say that, and I believe it like so wholeheartedly. Like I really do. Like I'm so convinced that this is true. But here's the thing. I don't always live like that is true. Like I think it's true. I don't. If I'm being really honest, sometimes I live for the promises of the things of this world because they look really good sometimes. Like the promise of success or the promise of recognition or comfort, image, wealth, whatever it is, like all of those things, those are really tempting, right? They're meant to look really, really good. They are just so enticing. They're so easy to choose. And so I've had to learn over the years that if I want to hunger for a life with Jesus, if I want to choose his promises over the promises of the world, then I have to train myself to want the right things. Going back to food, it's like junk food, right? Like it's like, man, at least for me, junk food is just so tempting. Like it is really easy for me to choose the bag of chips or to just like eat the entire sleeve of Oreos, but that doesn't actually nourish us, right? It promises that it will satisfy us, but it doesn't. It can't, not really. And so we have to train our mind, our body to eat and then like crave food that's actually good for us. We have to learn to eat food that satisfies our physical hunger and our physical need for nourishment. We got to do that. And I think the same goes for our spiritual hunger. I think we have to learn to train our mind and our hearts to be hungry for a life with Jesus. We have to actively seek out a relationship with him day by day. We have to choose that over and over again. So over the next few weeks, we're going to get into what that like actually looks like practically how to do that. But before we do, I think we just have to be convinced. We have to be convinced that what we want most is a life with God, is to live a life with God. We have to believe, we have to trust that his promises will satisfy and nothing else can. We have to be hungry for a life with Jesus. As the music team comes back up, I just want to remind you guys of what I said at the beginning, which is that your generation is hungry. It's like part of who you are. I'm convinced it is just what you're known for in a lot of ways. But what if you guys weren't known for just being hungry for what the world wants, like what other people want? Instead, what if you were known for being a generation that was hungry for Jesus? A generation that chased after him, right? That put him first, that made it clear that we want him more than anything. I want that to be our challenge. Like me too, myself included. I want that for all of us. So let's be people who are hungry for Jesus, who follow him fully, who give our entire lives to who he is and what he has done. Let's show the world, let's show other people that he is the satisfaction that we need, that we crave, and he is worth living for. I'm going to end just by praying for us, that more and more we would be satisfied in a life with Jesus, and that we would be convinced, long for, hunger for him. Let's pray. Jesus, we just confess that so often our eyes go to the things of this world, that we become hungry for what the world offers us. We pray, Jesus, that you would take our eyes off of those things and instead put them on you. Jesus, you are the only one who does not change, who does not fail us. You are everlasting to everlasting, and I pray that we would know, believe, live Like you are the only thing that satisfies us. I pray that as we go through this summer and we hear more and more about who you are, that we'd just be moved, transformed to believe and live the gospel in your truth. Jesus, we love you, and it's in your name we pray. Amen.